Did you hear about the Australian Army transferring COVID-infected people, and their contacts into state-run camps this past weekend? This seems to be under force. I'm worried something similar will happen here. How can we stop this before it's unstoppable? Love you guys.
Yep. Certainly we've heard these things. I will say,
yes.
As I cover in my essay on gun rights, we have many different lines of evidence about authoritarianism in Australia, including not just one, but two personal friends, people that we know who are actually fleeing Australia because of what they see. So I believe something authoritarian is taking place.
We've heard lots of other stories thirdhand, but two people we know for sure.
Two people we know. You can look at my interview with Betty Pizzamenti. There's lots of evidence that something is desperately awry in Australia. And then there are some people who swear that those of us outside of Australia are misunderstanding what we're seeing. Now, I think those people have to be, I'm not saying there's no difference between what we see and what's actually going on. No doubt there's some delta there. But as for whether or not things are essentially normal in Australia and what we are seeing is distorted and making us think something is authoritarian and off, it's very hard to imagine given the number of lines of evidence.
But it feels to me, and again, we haven't been there, we're not going, but it feels to me like the handful of reputable journalists who came to Portland late in the summer of 2020 went and stood in like Pioneer Square on a bluebird sky morning at 11 a.m. and went, nope, no Antifa here, looks fine to me.
Yep.
And dude, don't do that. You either are a terrible journalist or that is intentionally misleading people, because no one said that 24/7 in any randomly chosen spot in the city was it overrun with violent riots, but it is reliably at some times in some places. It was then, it's not now. So, it feels to me like that kind of argument. No, I'm standing where I'm standing and it's just fine. Therefore, anyone who says it's not fine anywhere in this giant continent is wrong.
Yes, I absolutely agree. My instinct, my gut is something is very wrong in Australia and New Zealand, by the way.
Sure.
And that this ought to be alarming, and we ought to be thinking about why Australia and what is taking place and whether this is an indication of where we will be 6 months from now by virtue of them being seasonally offset by a half a year, right? Or whether or not there's some other difference that's causing Australia to be harder hit by the authoritarians than other parts of the world. I think these are all important questions. What I don't want to do is pretend to know what's going on the ground in Australia better than Australians. I think some Australians are frankly deluded or lying, and they're leading us into a false sense of acceptance of what's there, and other Australians are trying to alert us to something, but that's my instinct thousands of miles away.
Right. Yeah, it's really hard to know. This is also speaking, I think, to what seems to be happening in Australia. Authoritarianism now knows how to decentralize the concentration camp. Thoughts? So, there's some centralization happening there, but there's a whole lot of lockdown in place.
Yeah, there's house arrest.
Yeah.
Right.
And the sort of the loose version of that, where, if you don't have your badge of authenticity, you can't go into a bunch of places, in many places. Right? You can't, in Seattle, you can't dine in a restaurant unless you're vaccinated, for instance.
Oh, right. Yes. And this is, Joe Rogan keeps pointing out the hazard of basically a social credit score system arriving in the West. I think obviously we already have the prototype of it, that the social media functions this way. And so, people are already being deranged by an opt-in version of this, but that we are going to be in a system that is not optional at all.
Right. No, in a binary that so many people just signed on to without necessarily considering that they were being lied to. It's easy for them to be like, ooh, I can just get an immediate jump in my credit score.
Absolutely.
Social credit score.
Embrace it and become an advocate for it and get some, whatever these programs are, that loyalty programs where you get some loyalty points when your friends sign up or whatever.
Right.
It's going to be something like that. And so anyway, yes, Joe has been saying this consistently.
Yep.
And a very interesting video, which I broadcast on my Twitter feed, emerged in which another person makes the point that this appears to be the structure that is being deployed behind the facade of vaccine passports. Now, it's not my area of expertise. I do have that fear, but I can't say that I understand these structures well enough to say that that's what's going on. But nonetheless, people who have expertise in this area are alarmed at what is being erected around us. Yeah. And the video in question, actually, which is called something like The Pivotal Moment or This Pivotal Moment, people should look it up. Again, you can find it on my Twitter feed if you're looking for it. But the... where is that going? Oh, yes. The video actually uses a phrase that's been very important to me, the turnkey totalitarian state, which is a phrase, the video doesn't mention it, but this comes from William Binney, who is an NSA whistleblower, somebody who had been on the inside. And in an interview, the quote actually comes from an interview.
And when is he talking?
I'm trying to remember what the year is. We can look it up, but I don't remember exactly. But it was sort of, I think it was just slightly pre-Snowden. Anyway, he said in this interview, he said, we're this close to a turnkey totalitarian state, right? And the point is, this close is an ambiguous thing, but turnkey totalitarian state is a brilliant idea. You're going to build the totalitarian state without turning it on. And then at the point that it's erected, you flip the switch. And the point is, this has that look to it.
Yeah. That's chilling.
Yep.
The concept of mass formation, Eric Hoffer's True Believers, and Joel Dimsdale's Dark Persuasion all suggest that people are being influenced by coercion and fear. Is there any antidote? I'm not familiar with Dimsdale. The other two, I am.
Yep. There's an anecdote. What did I say? There is an antidote, but it unfortunately involves turning around and confronting your fear so that you can get past it. It's a little, we were playing around.
So that's an individual level antidote.
No, it may be a collective one.
Okay.
I still think this thing, I'm still looking for the right analogy, but okay, some force that doesn't have your well-being at heart has taken you in a very small boat out very far from the shore, and you get wise to the fact that it's actually not working in your interest, but against your interests. Well, the answer is you can fend off that realization for a time, but at the point you realize that it's actually true, that doesn't mean that you're not in a frightening situation anymore, but it means that you need to confront your fears, and that that's an individual phenomenon. It's a collective phenomenon. I wonder if the problem was that we were headed towards that realization. People all over the world have been protesting the authoritarian garbage that is suddenly coordinated across so many countries. And I would imagine that resulted in the having of many meetings and the proposing of many solutions. And I fear that we are looking at the results of that meeting, or those meetings.
You may be right.
Let's hope I'm not.
Let's hope you're not.